Welcome back to the Talk Healing to Me podcast. This is 10 Things Music Therapy Taught Us with Dr. Shane Cassidy. I had the joy of chatting with him this week. He's a music therapist, researcher, and founder of Neuralinks. And we talked about how music can truly transform our physical, mental, and emotional well-being. So whether you're a lifelong music lover or someone who's just rediscovering your rhythm, this episode is a reminder of the healing power that's already playing in the background of your life. So we have the 10 most powerful takeaways from our conversation. What I do want to make a note of, we did an Instagram live as well earlier on today. If you haven't seen that, you can go and check it out on Instagram. But one of the things I noticed that, I don't know if it's in the last few years or maybe since COVID, I have found myself kind of listening to songs repetitively or going back to the ones that I loved that reminded me of a really great time, because I can automatically get back into that mode or it reminds me of something. But one of the things I really recognized is I'm not listening to as much music as I used to. Like in my old jobs, I'd be in the car quite a bit and I'd be out and about and I'd have that time to myself. But then as life gets busier and you become kind of task orientated, it's like, yeah, well, I'll speak for me specifically and a lot of my clients too. You get up, you do what you need to do. You might exercise, you might make breakfast, then it's work, then it's home, then it's dinner, it might be hobbies for kids, whatever it might be. And then all of a sudden it's bedtime. And so finding that space or time again to listen to music and kind of immerse yourself back into it, it got me excited about it. And as I was listening back to the episode, I realized I was a little bit giddy on that episode, and it was recorded a while ago, but we hadn't released it yet. So I'm really looking forward to breaking this down because there was so many great points of really easily accessible healing things to do for your brain, your body, and your emotional well-being as well. So the first one was that music activates the whole brain. This podcast is for educational purposes only and is not medical advice. Always consult your doctor. Views shared are personal and not a substitute for professional guidance. The things that we spoke about was memory and movement and emotion and even focus, and how listening or engaging in music is like a full body workout for your mind. I thought that was lovely. And it was one of Shane's clients who gave him that. And I know you've probably seen on social media or maybe some of the treatment of Alzheimer's, people that maybe wouldn't have great memories or difficulty recalling things, that when music is played, it can really elevate and light them up, and all of a sudden they're singing old songs. I thought that was a really, really beautiful thing to tune into. The second one was tempo tunes your nervous system. So fast beats equals energy and movement, and then slower rhythms is calming and grounding. So music literally helps you regulate that stress response. One of the things that I recognized in what Dr. Shane Cassidy said was that meeting yourself where you're at. So he said that if he was feeling stressed, he's not gonna react well to if somebody said, "Oh, just calm down," which would be the equivalent of trying to put on a calm song and calm yourself down if you are feeling overwhelmed or frustrated. Whereas meeting yourself with a song that matches your energy at that point and then gradually, taking the tempo or the beat down can have a much more powerful effect. I really liked that. The same if it was the other way around. If you're feeling lethargic, maybe put on some song that meets you where you're at and then build it up to a faster beat or maybe a little bit of a dance. The third one, and this is probably my favorite, singing together boosts oxytocin, which is the happy hormone. So group singing or playing music socially raises oxytocin, so the connection hormone. So hello, instant community and belonging. And I don't know about you, if you've ever been to a live gig or a choir, or even if you think about Christmas carols. I don't count myself as very religious. I probably count myself as quite spiritual, but I love a Christmas carol session, whether that's in a church or a school. There's something very emotive and evocative about people singing together and literally raising that vibration. So I loved that. The fourth one was lyrics live in long term memory. I remember saying to him, "How is it that sometimes when you walk into the kitchen and you think I've no idea what I'm in here for, but yet I can remember all the words to Gangster's Paradise from whatever year that was created in, like every single word, even the fast rap bits." So even when the short term memory fades, songs from your teens and 20s can still be recalled. So they're emotionally coded into your brain. I thought that was very cool. Very, very cool indeed. I wonder, let us know. Maybe you'll email us in and let us know what song is it that you know all of the words to. We'd love to hear it. Maybe you might even record yourself and send it in and we'll play it next week. The fifth one was your personal playlist is your superpower. So there's no one size fits all for healing. And one of the things I wanted to know, and I was kind of getting sneakily in my little question, what would be a good uh, song or type of music for a bit of weight loss of a few extra pounds that I want to get rid of? But he said the best results come from music you love and connect with emotionally. And it makes so much sense. It's the same with our MS to Success programs. They're not cookie cutter. It's not one size fits all. You've got to meet people where they're at. And I suppose it's the same with everyone's emotions. One person might love heavy metal music, another person might absolutely adore trance or garage music or rap or whatever it might be. Um, I loved that. The sixth one was music influences your behavior, even in the wine aisle. So I spoke a bit about an audio or a sonic branding uh, specialist that came into us and worked with us when I used to work in radio. And he spoke about a study that showed how music can subconsciously shift our mood, our choices, our energy. And one thing that he spoke about was if I think I gave the example that it was Super Value. It might have been a different supermarket that in the wine aisle that they played Italian music and the sales of Italian wines rose. They played French music and the sales of French music or French wine rose as well. And so we can influence our body and ourselves and shift our moods subconsciously and even our choices. One of the things that Dr. Shane Cassidy mentioned as well was that you'll notice in restaurants that if it's McDonald's or somewhere like that, they don't want to keep you there for a long time. They want to get you in and get you out, so it'll be a higher tempoed music. Whereas if it's a, a Michelin starred restaurant or a fancy pants restaurant, the music might be a little bit slower and a little bit softer because they want you staying there for a little bit longer. So it really does shape our life more than we think, interestingly. The seventh one was music therapy can help regain function. I really loved this. We spoke a bit afterwards off air talking about music therapy and a lot of times people think therapy and they think difficult, maybe difficult emotions or processing things that can feel a little bit confronting. However, when I say the words music therapy, I don't know, feels a little bit joyful or feels a little bit more um I don't know, like open to interpretation and that it doesn't have to be a particular way. And I think sometimes it can be hard to verbalize how you're feeling. It can also be very hard to verbalize what it is that you want. We do a lot of calls in different topics like mindset, movement, nutrition, self care, sleep. We do support calls for friends and family and loved ones. And a lot of times, our clients will want support, but they might not be able to verbalize or say what it is because a lot of times we can just get used to patterns being built or routines being built over years. And so you just get used to doing them. And so it becomes this compensatory pattern that we build, not realizing that actually maybe it doesn't have to be that way. So asking for support or help can feel a little bit foreign because it's like, oh, well, I can just do it myself. It's easier. But maybe you don't realize that you could have support in a different way. And I really felt that about music therapy. And what Shane was talking about was rhythm based techniques can support people with neurological conditions to walk, speak, even improve the voice. But move with more ease as well. So it's not just mood, it's motor skills too. And Dr. Shane Cassidy has done quite a few workshops with our clients, and the results have been phenomenal. So we love having that music therapy as part of our overall treating the whole body, mindset, movement, nutrition, self care, sleep, and music. The eighth part was creativity is part of healing. He spoke about writing songs or mantras or recording your own affirmations to music gives you ownership in your healing journey and makes it feel real. I have to be honest, I never thought about writing music as a healing journey. But I suppose if you listen to any of your favorite songs, or if you think of any of your favorite songs, they're usually about heartbreak or someone then, you know, triumphing over the past, but it's usually about something, an emotion that people can connect with and that people can then see themselves in their own lives. And that's, I think, why we all have such a special relationship with music, whether it's the feel of, an unfinished cadence or whether it's a particular lyric of a song. But I never thought about doing it ourselves as healing. And in fact, it's interesting. As soon as I even thought about that, I thought, oh God, I couldn't do that or I'd be really bad at that. But maybe giving yourself permission to actually just write a song. I'd be afraid that I'd end up putting loads of expletives in a thing, or if I was talking about a past hurt or trauma or something like that, I well, definitely could never be published. Let's put it that way. Ah, the ninth one was you don't need to be musical. So music therapy isn't about talent, it's about tapping into rhythm, sound, and expression to support your health goals, whether that's physical, emotional, or cognitive. One of the things we spoke about was, the different instruments. I was asking them if they have, in their physical workshop, if they have drums. If you're having a really crappy day and you just want to like bash something, like if you go in and like bash on the drums and just take out some of that stress. I would absolutely love that. This episode of Talk Healing to Me is sponsored by Clean Boss, created by Joy Mangano, the legendary inventor behind the Miracle Mop and a pioneer in clean innovation. Clean Boss is a botanical disinfectant that kills 99.9% of viruses, germs, and bacteria. It's safe for food surfaces, soft surfaces, and baby high chairs with no toxic ingredients and no rinse required. It's also a degreaser, odor eliminator, and all-purpose cleaner that works as hard as the chemical-heavy stuff without the health risks. Check it out at getcleanboss.com/Karen for a clean, better, and living safer life. So they do have that. They've all the different types of instruments. And I know Shane loves classical music, but also plays the clarinet and the piano and some other things. Very, very talented indeed, and as a teacher too. So really impressed with that. At the 10th and final point was music helps build identity. I'm sure we can all relate to this. So from adolescence to adulthood, the music we love shapes how we see ourselves and reconnects us to who we really are. And I don't know if you remember back to school, like we had like the kids who would, or the kids, the people who would, maybe play a musical instrument. I was never one of those. In fact, when oh God, in music class, I only took it up when I was in the last 3 years of school. Um, but I remember we were playing the recorder in school, and my teacher told me not to blow into mine because I was so bad that I was putting people off. I sang instead, which was better for me, and I enjoyed that more. But I liked the fact that Shane said he didn't have to be musical to do it. But I really did see that we do self identify or relate ourselves to other people who have the same music. For example, my daughter is a Swiftie. And oh my goodness, when she was doing her tour, the love and the connection of people from all around the world who had never met um, or never even spoke to each other, this absolute love and fandom for her as well. I love a little bit of dance music, but I also love classical. Um, I also love a little bit of Fleetwood Mac, all the way to Tchaikovsky. So I really do like that you can connect with people at a different level. In fact, I was at a friend's daughter's communion a couple of weeks ago, and we were playing Spotify or YouTube roulette, where we'd all take turns on naming a song, and we'd play that, and then we'd line them up. But it was nearly like a competition then of like, what song are they going to pick? And I was picking songs from The National or Toto, Africa, songs like that. And people were like, oh my God. But there was two of us that absolutely loved all of that music. And I had never met this person before. My friend said, I've never met two people to like the same type of weird music. So for other people, it was weird for them. But for me, it's absolutely songs that I'd love. So it's really interesting how you connect or don't connect on that matter, but can still honor and respect each person's choice. There's nothing better than if you're on a drive and taking turns in songs. It's something I love doing with Noel and with the kids or whoever else is in the car, each taking turns to play a song. It gives you a little bit of a giggle, and you may even have a little bit of a carty, a car party, as I like to call it. So we want to hear from you. If you have a question for Shane or a guest you'd love us to interview, or maybe a topic you'd love to hear, maybe a topic that you'd love to hear more about, email us at podcast@talkhealingtome.com. And don't forget to share with us your win of the week. What's something you'd like to celebrate or acknowledge yourself? We might just give you a shout out on the next episode. In the meantime, though, I'd love to shout out all of our clients. Let me share their wins from this week. So time to shout out some of you as well as our brilliant clients. Our new client B, she is getting rest without feeling guilty and giving herself permission to pause. I love that. She's only in the program a couple of weeks, and I love the fact that she's really tuning into her body. A said she went to the garden, took a stroll with her rollator, and did the stairs back up and down again. Absolutely phenomenal. S is starting a 30-day challenge for herself. Her birthday is on the 19th of next month, and she's already feeling great doing it every single day. E said she has better balance when walking outside with the kids on a sloped driveway. H said she did her workout despite not feeling like it. That's a huge win, especially when we don't feel like doing something. And she also made our hummus from our recipe section, and it's absolutely delicious. I love hearing that. C said has great energy and little spasticity after getting back to her routine. And S said she has no more knee pain, improved balance during the exercises as well. So good. Well done, S, who's in Scotland. Elle said she went to an exercise class and managed to complete it. She sat down a little bit when needed, but felt great afterwards. Good job. P said she got back to doing her exercises and good food after a weekend of enjoying it with her friends and her grandkids. And Kay said she's doing more of her workouts each and every day. We have M, who's in the UK, who walked every day despite work stress. We have A, who took time to sit in the garden and enjoy nature. We have E, who started a new routine of crafting daily and really enjoying it. We have D, who just joined the program and joined a group call, which is a big step. It can be quite confronting when you're doing that, and she really, really enjoyed it. We have N, who walked her office up the stairs and only using a cane. So her biggest milestone so far. So walking better now than before when she started, which is amazing, amazing. Kay stayed focused on her goals and had fun during the week. D was able to walk around her block and picked flowers without any mobility aids. How cool. B hosted her daughter's 20th birthday celebrations, drank more water, and learned the movement routine. And already feeling the results. Really, really great. S had a lovely afternoon with her granddaughter and also was able to go on the trampoline with her. How cool. B said she was grateful for a fresh day to hit the restart button and an opportunity to relax. And M said that she was grateful for a solid night's sleep and getting back to her normal schedule. Z, who's in Dubai, and it can be difficult for her sometimes to show up to the calls because of the time difference, but she is now walking further and with no pain. I mean, just phenomenal. She's able to play with her kids. You actually got to meet her two kids on the call this week as well, or two of the kids, which is wonderful. And Jay, her left foot is moving again, and it hasn't in a long time. She's able to move her toes again, which means then that the grip and everything else is starting to going. So we're well on the way. And she's only in the program a few weeks. The same with Zed as well. So just phenomenal, phenomenal. I'm so proud of my clients for showing up, for doing the work, because there's days when we don't feel like doing it. There's days when we don't feel like showing up. But when you show up anyway, that is where the magic happens. So there we go. I celebrate all of you. There's a lot this week. I love hearing from you, and I want to hear your win of the week. So email me at podcast@talkhealingtome.com. What is something you'd love to acknowledge or celebrate about yourself? Maybe you rested when you needed to. Maybe you danced in the kitchen, or maybe you just showed up. Big or small, let's name it. Email it to me and we will read it out on a future episode. Thanks for tuning in. Keep playing, keep singing. And remember, your healing doesn't have to be quiet. Allow yourself to show up, to be heard, to sing whatever it is that you want to do. It doesn't have to be painful. It can be joyful, it can be loud, and it can be playful. And it's all yours. Keep talking healing to yourself, and we'll see you on the next episode. Thanks for tuning in. Thank you to our sponsors of this episode. You can visit getcleanboss.com/Karen. And also a thank you to our video and podcast producer and editor, Aoife McNamara at Imagine Media. Thank you.